interrupt you. May I ask you something?
Sure, what do you need?
Well, I'm new and I'm looking for the class 24.
I'll take you there.
Thank you.
What's your name?
Anna.
You share name is my cousin who lives in London.
Cool. Are you going to London in holidays?
I would like to, but I'm about to start high school and I need to get ready for that.
So you're not going anywhere?
I would like to know more about Mexico City.
Well, let's take a look to some beautiful things we have in our city.
There are many options where you can stay. The average price of a double room is $400 per night depending on the neighborhood you choose. If you want to get a real sense of the city, its history, its architecture, its culture, and traditional street food, then the historical center is the best place, as well as Polanco and Reforma Avenue.
Plenty of restaurants with a huge variety of dishes and culinary experiences that define Mexico City's gastronomic identity should offer a comprehensive starting point for any visitors. It includes the obvious and the overexposed. The first thing that any visitor to Mexico City will take into account while starting out the window in air as their airplane descends over the intense neighborhoods of this cosmopolitan city, in which each of them is represented by its own culinary identity. It could take several lifetimes to get to know all the street stands, holes in the wall, neighborhood favorites, and high-end destinations in this city. It also includes hidden gems. It covers long-time bustling neighborhoods like Roma and Condesa, as well as newer destination districts like San Miguel, Chapultepec, and Coyoacán. There are tacos, tortas, tasting menus, and tamales. There are enough sweets to satisfy our the most delicate breath. Whatever the type of place, it provides standard food and a taste of something visitors can't get back home.
Renata Morales Pereira, and I'm going to talk about the parks that you can visit in Mexico City. The first one is Parque Mexico. This park is located in Roma Sur, Cuauhtémoc. The park has an audiorama where you can hang out, and you can also go to the pond to watch ducks. There is also a dog area where you can play with your pets. The second one is Parque Masayoshi Ojira. It's located in the south of Mexico City. It has Japanese details like pagadas, a bridge, and a lake that makes you feel in Japan. It has been a film set location many times. The name was given after Japanese first ministers that visited Mexico. The third one, Parque La Mexicana, is located in Santa Fe in the heart of the business town of Mexico City. You can find a skate park, lakes, and a dog area. At night, has a light show. Now, the places where you can hire bikes. The most recommended retail bikes in Mexico City are the first one, Ecobici. It's a very simple service. You need to buy a card, put money on it, go to the closest bike station, and take one. When you finish your ride, you take your bike to the nearest bike station. You can find this bike station in 55 neighborhoods, such as Condesa, Roma, Nápoles, etc. The second one is Mobike. It's another service to get bikes. To these bikes, you need to download an app and scan the QR code. To unlock the bike, Mobile doesn't have bike station, so the app tells you where to park the bike, and you can find the bike in Polanco. The third one is B-Bike. It's a service very similar to Mobile. You need to download the app, scan the QR code to unlock the bike, and you can find B-Bike in Benito Juárez. And I hope you find this review very useful. Thank you.
The best way to get around Mexico City is via Uber or a taxi. The underground is another option, and not only it's fairly clean and quick, but you can ride for approximately 0.5 pesos.
Taxis are slightly more expensive, but they are a hassle-free means of getting to the center of the city, to the Benito Juárez International Airport, which is 6 miles away from the east of Centro Histórico. Uber is another option to navigate the city. Driving is not a great idea, either going to the airport or driving around the town.
Like the subway, Mexico City's Metrobus is cheap, efficient, and super crowded way to move around town. These red and white buses move quickly in dedicated lines along Insurgentes Avenue. To ride, you'll need to purchase a smart card. available at vending machines in the metro stations. The cartwheel costs 20 pesos and ride costs 6 pesos.
The tour bus provides commentary available in 8 languages on various popular sites and routes throughout the city. Tours usually last around 3 hours with approximately 20 steps along the way, for those looking to bag in lots of sightseeing in one day. It's an affordable option costing about 8 pesos for adults. It departs daily from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. It's also among our best tours in Mexico City.
The malls are modern constructions where there are different stores. On weekends, they are very crowded. For example, clothing store, music, technology, furniture, and accessories. You can also find the food section, where you find to Mexican to international food. In another section, you will find entertainment centers. There are different squares throughout Mexico City, such as Plaza Universidad, Arts Pedregal, Galerías Cuapa, and Perisur. Also, there are traditional tianguis. Those are really established in the street of the city. There you can buy food and such as fruit, vegetables, and meat. We have markets, and one of the most important is the San Juan Market, where you can find a great variety of exotic food, and the Coyoacán Handicraft Market, where there are many varieties of handicrafts from all states of the Republic.
The Fine Art Palace was built in 1904. Is a prominent cultural center in Mexico City. It has hosted notable events in music, dance, theater, opera, and literature in Mexico, and has held important exhibitions of painting, sculpture, and photography. Consequently, the Fine Art Palace has been called the Cathedral of Art in Mexico. The building is located in the western side of the historic center of Mexico City, next to the Alameda Central.
The seven major building phases of Templo Mayor, it began with a simple structure, probably dated to Huitzilopochtli, built in 1325, when Tenochtitlan was founded. Subsequently, the Templo Mayor grew enormously, both in size and elaboration, resulting in the impressive structure seen by the Spaniards in 1519.
The National Museum of Anthropology, world famous repository of 6,100 art and other objects related to Mexico, many anthropological, ethnological, and archaeological materials in the collection date from the pre-Hispanic period. The post-Classic period that began with the arrival of the Spanish conquistadors 1518 to 1522 is represented by fan ceremonial dishes, ornaments, and giant votive tablets.
Wow, it's impressive.
I bet you cannot find these wonderful things in London.
Why would you not have a look about things you can do there?
The Union Jack is the national flag of the United Kingdom. The crest of St. Junior, patron saint of England, is a red cross on a white ground. The crest of St. Andrew, patron saint of Scotland, is a diagonal white cross on a blue ground. The cross of St. Patrick, patron saint of Ireland, is a diagonal red cross on a white ground. This was combined with the previous Union flag of St. Junior and St. Andrew, after the Act of Union of Ireland with England.
The Beefeaters, whose official name is Yeoman Guards of Her Majesty Royal Palace and Fortress the Tower of London, are ceremonial guards of the Tower of London, were originally formed in 1485 by Henry VII. Their main role is to protect the crown jewelry and to attend the lots of number of tourists that visit the palace daily. In order to qualify as a beefeater or yeoman guard, any candidate must have served at least 22 years.
The London Eye, or the Millennium Wheel, is a cantilever observation wheel on the south bank of the River Thames in London. It's 135 meters tall, and it cost around £75 million. It took 10 years to build. It has incredible views. On a clear day, you can see up 40 kilometers away.
The 32 capsules of this Ferris wheel are symbolic of London's 32 boroughs and are numbered 1, 2, 33, eliminating the 13th carriage for good luck.
Originally, it was built to celebrate the millennium. The London Eye is lit up in different colors to mark various special occasions. For example, it was lit red, white and blue for Prince William and Kate Middleton's wedding, and pink in 2005. If you want to make a private proposal with no hesitation, this place will be the best to do it.
The red telephone box is always seen as a British cultural icon throughout the world. The red K2 telephone box was introduced to the streets of London in 1926. However, in the age of cell phone, many have fallen out of use. The company that owns them is now making a renewed push to encourage communities to adopt and transform them into something. Some telephone booths have been transformed into smart libraries, since almost anybody uses them to make phone calls.
Paddington Station, also known as Paddington Underground Station or Paddington Rail Station, is one of the main London Underground and train stations in London. It's close to many tourist attractions such as Hyde Park and Regent's Canal. This underground station inspired Michael Baum, who is the man behind the Jan Loving Paddington Bear. Michael wrote more than 20 books and more than 70 stories that have been translated into 13 languages. Paddington has found his way into several generations' hearts and stayed there forever. For adults, Paddington is a nostalgic treasure for childhood since it was created more than 15 years ago. For today, children, he is a funny character who makes them laugh when his good-natured efforts to help live to mayhem.
London Underground has been known as the Tube since 1890. Due to the shape of the 26 tunnels. The Tube was first deep-level electric railway line opened in the same year. The Tube is the oldest transportation system of this type in the world. During the Second World War, the tunnels of the Tube stations were transformed into shelters, so people could escape the bombings. The roundel symbol begins to appear on the sides of buses and a plain color version, with no text, which is introduced on underground trains in 1972. The roundel is officially named as the corporate symbol of London Transport.
The London Dungeon experience is an approximately 19 minutes walk through the various attractions. You see the Dungeon experience highlights the lowlights of London history through the exceptional stages and special effect experiences.
You will be part of a group moving from show to show guided by professional actors. The stories are based on London history and legends. You will be close up and personal with sinister characters like Jack the Ripper and Sweeney Todd.
The London Dungeon consists of a series of set scenes reproducing chilling aspects of medieval London. Expect lots of darkness, dripping water, skeletons, caged rats, tolling bells, etc. to add to the atmosphere. Naturally, there are scenes of torture in all its variations. It's hilarious, fun, and it's sometimes a bit scary. All are brought to life with special effects very well done, originally conceived for film and TV. Actors add life to the displays and, among other things, may sentence you personally to death.
Jack the Ripper was an unidentified serial killer who used to kill around the Whitechapel district of London in 1888. His murders were female prostitutes. Their throats were cut prior to abdominal mutilations, removing the internal organs of his victims. He was never caught.
One of the news characters the London Dungeon hosts is Bloody Mary, who was a killer queen favourite of England's most terrific rules. Mary Tudor, the eldest daughter of Henry VIII. This killer queen was nicknamed Bloody Mary for ordering around 300 horrifying murders in her reign, but brutal 5 years reigned from 1553 to 1558. The West in the dungeons are transported back to London in 1556
where the fanatical Catholic queen is burning Protestant at the stake. Special effects conjure up the sight, screams, and overwhelming stench of fiery execution, as another helpless heretic endures as one of the most painful deaths known to man, being slowly burned alive.
Sweeney Todd, who is a fictional character, a barber from Fleet Street, murders his customers with a straight dresser and turns their bodies over to Mrs. Lovett, his partner in crime, who bakes their flesh into meat pies.
Means public house, which is a place where alcoholic beverages are served. The original concept of public house arose in the UK, and it has several characteristics that distinguish it culturally and socially from other businesses. There are approximately 60,000 pubs in the UK, with at least one in almost every neighborhood. There is evidence that the earliest part of the pub's building only date back to 1650, and that the earliest recorded pub in the building location from the 1751.
With tables on the restaurants and eateries spilling out onto the piazza, Covent Garden is also where you will find London's best street. Performers from singers and buskers to mime artists performing in crowd-pleasing street.
The British Museum was founded in 1753 and opened its doors in 1759. It was the first national museum to cover all fields of human knowledge open to visitors from across the world. This museum is one of the world's largest and most important museums of human history and culture. It has more than 7 million objects from all continents. They illustrate and document the story of human culture from its beginning to the present.
The Clink prison dates back to 1144, making it one of England's oldest and most notorious prisons, positioned in the heart of modern-day Southwark and built on the original site. The Clink Prison Museum presents the scandalous truth of all Bankside through a hands-on educational experience. There are opportunities to view archaeological artifacts, experience the sights, sounds, and smells of the prison, handle torture devices, and to be and hear all about the tales of torment and many misfortunes of inmates of the famous Clink prison.
The Natural History Museum in London is home to life and earth science specimens comprising some 80 million items within 5 main collections: botany, entomology, mineralogy, paleontology, and zoology. The museum is a center of research specializing in taxonomy, identification, and conservation. Given the age of the institution, many of the collections have great historical and scientific value, such as specimens collected by Charles Darwin. The museum is particularly famous for its exhibition of dinosaur skeletons and ornate architecture.
The Club is a famous London theatre in which after 1599 the plays of William Shakespeare were performed. The club was owned by the actors and partners of the Lord Chamberlain's men. It was built using timber from an older theatre. The name of the club supposedly alludes to the Latin expression "because the whole world is a playground." Today, Shakespeare Globe Theatre stands around 2,030 meters from the original Globe site. The design of the theatre is the same as the original, with a stage surrounded by a circular yard, where groundlings can still view performances.
The red double-decker buses in London have become a national symbol of England. The majority of buses in London are double-deckers. The first in-kind-powered double-decker bus appeared in 1923. At this time, there were a shortage of buses in London and some companies competed against each other for bus dominance. The Metropolitan Police approved the red buses. The color was so easy to spot, acting as a warning to those crossing the street. The most iconic version of the London double-decker bus is the Roadmaster.
Many people like to take something home with them as a reminder of their trips. Tourists usually take souvenirs back home for friends, relatives, and work college. There are some of us who just can't resist walking into a gift shop and coming out with something. This can happen a lot, especially on holidays with children. There are so many shops offering. Ideas among the most common are keyrings, hoodies, and soft toys.
Thanks for spending your break with me.
I couldn't imagine that we could find all those incredible things there.
And there's even more things. You know, writers, singers, celebrities.
Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, Holmes. but he was a fictional character.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, a lot of people think that he really exists, but he doesn't.
Wow.
Let's find out a bit more about him.
Hi everyone, and welcome to our weekly section of Icons Interview. As we're in a pandemic, commercial flights are restricted, and we're going to have a great interview with a great icon of London. Let's go with Sherlock Holmes. Okay, Sherlock, I'm JP, and we're going to have the interview we arranged last week. Sherlock?
What?
We're going to have the interview we arranged last week.
Interview? Oh, interview. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, sorry for bothering you, Mr. Holmes. So, Sherlock.
Well, let's finish this fast. I need to do my other duties.
Okay. Well, why did you decide being a consultant detective to bring justice to the world?
No, I didn't do that because of that. It's because it's fun. No. Reality may sometimes be very boring, and I want fun. I need fun. I need to think. I need to be alive, and it's the only thing in the world that makes me have fun, simple as that. That's that.
Okay, we all know about your partnership with Dr. Watson. Can you tell us how did you met him?
Yeah, I met John and studying Scarlet. It was apparently a multiple murdering about a lady in pink. But it was actually a serial killer with a marvelous job. It was really beautiful what he made. But at the end, it was so supporting as everything. And well, and finally, I met John there. It was nice at the end. So that's how I met Dr. Watson.
Oh, okay, wow. That's quite impressive. Well, and the last question is.
Oh, finally! Sorry, did I said it loud?
Yeah, no worries. Well, let's talk about your studies of the science of deduction. Here it says that you can identify a pilot by just seeing his finger, or that you can identify a secretary by the way she walks.
I do.
Is that true, Mr. Holmes?
Yeah, that's true. It's the simplest, easiest thing in the world, You only have to watch them, watch the people, see the details. That's all. There.
I don't know about you, but when I watch somebody, I can know his entire life.
That's because you see, you don't watch. You have to watch, you have to see the details. You have to feel the details. It's not as simple of seeing somebody, If you don't watch, you consequently you don't think. As everyone else.
Okay.
Okay, I'll show you. Okay. You were raised by your mother and your aunts with a strong Catholic presence in all aspects of your education. You have certain habits as putting ketchup in your eggs and putting the milk before the cereal. You live in the north of the city in a small apartment, which indicates that you have a very bad economical situation. And you had this morning very bad news about your bank account and probably the death of your dear aunt. And you probably expected me to be another kind of person, which.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Holmes. But we ran out of time, so we're going back with you, Marco.
Thanks, JP. The interviewer asked why he had decided being a consulting detective. Holmes claimed that it was because he was completely boring, and that was one of the only things that truly made him see the bright of that world. The interviewer asked him where he had met Dr. Watson. He said he had met him in a study in Scarlet. The interviewer apologized. Holmes then asked when he watched somebody he couldn't know his entire life. The interviewer thanked Mr. Holmes for his time and that they had been run out of time.
And what about gastronomy in London?
I have to say, Mexican dishes are by far better whenever you go there. You don't have to miss bangers and mash.
Bungers and what?
Bangers and mash.
Well, let's take a look at this gastronomy.
It's a British colloquial name for commonly referring to sausages served with mashed potatoes. Its origin is in the United Kingdom. It has been claimed that the term bangers and mash has its origins in World War II, when sausages were of such low quality that when cooked they partially exploded, but it has been used for at least 1919.
Bangers and mash can be considered a healthy dish at all. It has 23 milligrams of cholesterol, 11.30 grams from monounsaturated fats, and 4.2 grams from saturated fats. To be more specific, from the total calories, 27% come from fats, 50% from carbohydrates, and only 23% from proteins. To sum up, having this dish for more than a week would not be the best option for your health.
Now we will list the ingredients we need to make one of the most traditional dishes in England. Pork, lamb, or beef sausages with mashed potatoes, better known as bangers and mash. All we need is 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil, 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, 2 medium onions peeled and thinly sliced, 1 tablespoon of balsamic vinegar, 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar, 2½ cups of beef stock, 4 tablespoons of cornstarch, 4 tablespoons of cold water, kosher salt to taste, and freshly ground pepper for taste. Martin, could you please tell us what we need for the mash?
Thank you, Fernanda. For the mash, we need 2 pounds of potato peeler and quarter, 6 tablespoons of milk, kosher salt, and freshly ground black pepper to taste. And that's it. It looks like the ingredients are very easy to combine. Now that we know what we need, we will continue with our partner, Victor Guerra, who will teach us how to make this delicious meal. Go ahead, Vic.
Hi, my name is Victor Guerra Salazar, and today I'm gonna teach you how to make bangers and mash with onion gravy. First, you need to peel and cut in squares 8 medium potatoes. Chop in thin layers 2 white onions. This is gonna make easier the cooking process of the gravy. When you have cut the onion and the potatoes, prepare a pot with hot water and a pan. Add oil and butter to the pan and wait 1 minute. Next, add our previously cut onion to the pan. Then wait 10 minutes in low heat and add balsamic vinegar and sugar. Wait 5 minutes and add beef stock. Then wait another 5 minutes and mix cornstarch with beef stock and cold water. Mix until the liquid becomes thicker. Check the potatoes at this moment, and if they are soft, drain them and leave it there from 2 to 5 minutes. Then add your cornstarch to the onions and mix until it becomes thicker or the texture of a gravy. Put them in high heat and leave it there 10 minutes. Now in a bowl, add your potatoes, butter and milk. Start smashing until they become one. You can use an electric blender as me. Then add salt and pepper at your taste and let it on your side. Now check your onion gravy and turn off the heat. In another pan, add the vegetable oil and wait until it's ready to toast our sausages. Now add our sausage to the pan and leave it there 20 seconds and give it a flip. Now it's time to plate. Serve 2 large portions of mashed potatoes. Add 2 sausages on the top of the mash and add as much gravy as you want. Here's the final result. If you can see, there is the sausages, the mash, and the gravy. I hope you can do this recipe and enjoy it. Have a great day or a week. Bye bye.
Thanks, Victor. That looks delicious. Now that we have the dish... Fancy cup of tea? Now, my partner Sofia Navarro will tell us about some delicious drink. England is well known to be one of the 3 most tea consumers, just soon after Turkey and Ireland.
Tea comes mainly from mainland China. In England, tea came through the Netherlands and London coffee growers who made it fashionable around 1657. The earliest tea meals were often in the early evening, some 3 or 4 hours after dinner or even later, after a supper and before bed. Tea time is the time when the tea food is usually taken, which goes from the end of the afternoon to the beginning of the night, which is equivalent to the snack.
Thanks, Sofia. Hi, I'm the chef Emiliano Salinas, and today I'm going to show you how to prepare Earl Grey tea. Earl Grey tea is a tea blend flavored with bergamot oil. The fragrant oil from the peel is added to black tea to give Earl Grey its unique flavor. Traditionally, Earl Grey was made from black teas like China Camon and was therefore intended to be drunk without milk. All we have to do is heat water with black tea with bergamot oil, and you have your Earl Grey tea. As you can see, gastronomy in England is really tasty. Enjoy your meal.
I've learned a lot today.
So have I, and it's a pity I won't.
We are level 4.
And these were some topics that we worked during school with.
Thanks for your attention.